Okay, good evening. I would like to call the August 8th, 2024 Plan Commission meeting to order. If you are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Bill Thomas.
Here.
Jeff Peterson.
Here.
John Stanton. Here. Ken Carroll.
Here.
Cheryl Slebizeski.
Here.
And Angelo DeSario.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, first order of business is I need a motion to approve the Plan Commission meeting minutes from July 11th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Carroll, second by Commissioner Slebizeski. Roll call, please.
Ken Carroll.
Yes.
Cheryl Slebizeski.
Yes.
Angelo DeSario.
Yes.
Bill Thomas.
Yes.
Jeff Peterson.
Abstain.
John Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have two cases on the agenda for tonight. The first case is RZ 24-2-8-1, a request of Rafael Prado. Am I pronouncing that right? Prado? Prado? Thank you. Seeking approval of the rezoning of the property located at the northwest corner of Plum Street and Caton Farm Road, which is currently zoned R3 residential in unincorporated Will County, to R1B single-family residence in the city of Crest Hill, as well as a setback variation to Table 1 of the City of Crest Hill zoning ordinance that would reduce the minimum required setback along Caton Farm Road frontage of this property from 30 feet to 20 feet in Crest Hill, Illinois. Christine, is the paperwork all in order?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That being the case, I would like to have a motion to open the public hearing for case RZ-24-2-8-1.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner DeSario,
Second.
second by Commissioner Peterson. Roll call, please.
Angelo DeSario.
Yes.
Jeff Peterson.
Yes.
John Stanton.
Yes.
Ken Carroll.
Yes.
Cheryl Slebizeski.
Abstain.
Bill Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, public hearing opened at 7:03 PM. Again, the subject of this hearing is to discuss RZ 24-2-8-1. So I would like to ask Zoe Gates, Administrative Clerk, to present the specifics of this case.
Thank you, Chairman. As you said, this is a property in unincorporated Will County. They are annexing into the city. When a property annexes in, it automatically goes with our most restrictive zoning, which is R1A. This would not be a buildable lot at R1A, which is why they are requesting the rezoning to R1B. And then it is 2 lots, as you've seen in your paperwork. However, they are already in the process of combining those with the county. So it will be a single lot with a single-family residential home. And the setback request is just them wishing to reduce that front property line from 30 feet to 20 feet. Their driveway will actually front along Plum Street, so there will not be any traffic onto and off of Caton Farm Road from the property. You have all the paperwork in order in front of you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions at this point? Mr. Prado, would you please come to the podium? State your names.
My name is Rafael Prado, and
Gabriela Prado.
Okay, would you please raise your right hands? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes.
All right, so tell us about what you're looking to do here.
It was well put. Just like we said it before when we were presented this the first time, we're looking to really incorporate to Crest Hill as being our, forever home. There's a couple of things that we're requesting in order to make that the way that possible that we want with our architect Felipe. So just having that setback moved to 20 feet. Really, the size of the house is what we want to raise a family there, to be in, our permanent home and be involved within the community of Crest as a part of that as well. I see myself as a person that's very engaged within the community and being somebody that likes to be a part of helping out. My profession is I am a director of nursing, so I like to give a lot out to the community and helping out to the areas around. If this goes through, it just helps us in the process of, making sure that we set, our foundation here and to wanting to build a house. Right?
All right, good. Commissioners, any questions of the Prados?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Yeah,
You went to the city council workshop, correct?
that's correct.
And the city council said that it was receptive of these requests and encouraged, didn't bring my glasses, a property owner to formally reply to them. So you already have gone to the city council, they're receptive of what's going on. You're just making the steps now, correct?
Yeah, doing the formal process. That's
And
correct.
this is a good place to start, so
Yeah. Thank
that's
you.
all I need to hear.
All right.
As far as I'm concerned, you're good.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stanton?
No.
No questions? Commissioner Carroll?
I'm fine, no questions.
I have none.
Okay. Is there anybody from city staff that needs to ask another question or make a statement? Is there anyone in the audience that wants to make a comment concerning this case? Let the record show no one has raised their hand. Okay, if there are no further questions or comments, then I would like to ask for a motion to close the public hearing. Motion by
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner DeSario, second by Commissioner Carroll. Roll call, please.
Angelo DeSario,
Yes.
Ken Carroll,
yes.
Cheryl Slavaseski,
Abstain.
Jeff Peterson,
Yes.
John Stanton,
Yes.
and Bill Thomas.
Yes,
Motion carries. Thank you.
public hearing closed at 7:07. Do we need to have any more discussion on this?
Well, I would just note that the reason they went to the workshop with the council was because it is not yet, the parcel is not yet in the city. So the council will have to annex it before it can be rezoned. So
Okay.
I think they were receptive to the annexation, and hence they sent it back to you to make
Work
a
out the-
recommendation on zoning. So
Right.
if your recommendation is in favor of the rezoning, it would be contingent, of course, upon the city council actually annexing the property
Understand.
in, which, again, the city council was receptive to.
Okay, thank you. So this looks like, as I read this over, I kind of chuckled, even though it wasn't too funny. Everything you wanted to do, there all of a sudden popped up a roadblock in the way. You wanted to buy this property, which you did. You wanted to have a setback, and then you find out that your property's not big enough, so now you have to have a 30-foot setback, which you didn't want. And then some of us looked around, and we actually looked up the other homes on Caton Farm Road, which all have a 20-foot setback. So
That's correct.
all those obstacles seem to be easily overcome. And so I would like to have a motion to approve the request from the Prados for approval of the rezoning of the property located at the northwest corner of Plum Street and Caton Farm Road, which is currently zoned R3 residential in unincorporated Will County to R1B single family in the city of Crest Hill, and the setback variation in Table 1 of the Crest Hill zoning ordinance that would allow a minimum reduction setback along Caton Farm Road from 30 feet to 20 feet.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Motion by Commissioner Peterson. Let's give it a second by Commissioner Stanton. Roll call, please.
Jeff Peterson,
Yes.
John Stanton,
Yes.
Ken Carroll,
yes.
Cheryl Slavaseski,
Abstain.
Angelo DeSario,
Yes.
and Bill Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, so, as our attorney was kind of saying, we are making a recommendation to the city council of Crest Hill that they move ahead and rezone the property, R1B, and then allow the frontage to be reduced from 30 feet to 20 feet. But all we can do is recommend it. It's now going to be up to them to make the final decision. Do we have any idea when they would appear before the city council? Well, we will let you know.
Yeah,
But,
we'll send an email. I don't know if we'll be able to get it onto the next work session quickly enough. But certainly there will be a work session later this month and then probably the first meeting in September, but we'll confirm that with you by email.
So in the meantime, congratulations, and we hope everything goes well and we can welcome you as a resident of the city of Crest Hill.
Thank you very much.
You
Thank
can
you.
smile now. Smile.
Thank you. Have a nice
Yep.
night.
Good job.
Okay, the second case is V-24-3-8-1, a request of Scott McFedries seeking approval of variations to section 6.61B, 8.3-5, 8.3-68, and 8.3-9.2B of the Crest Hill zoning ordinance for the property located at 1940 Sybil Drive, Crest Hill, Illinois. The requested variations would permit total lot coverage on the property to exceed 50%, an existing above-ground pool, a storage shed, and a brick paver patio to encroach into a combined public utility and drainage easement, as well as multiple existing accessory structures to be allowed closer to the side and rear property lines than normally allowed. Christine, everything in order?
Yes, it is.
Okay, with that being the case, I would like to have a motion to open the public hearing for case V-24-3-8-1.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Peterson, second by Commissioner Slabazeski. Roll call, please.
Jeff Peterson,
Yes.
Cheryl Slabezewski,
Yes.
Angela DeSario,
Yes.
John Stanton,
Yes.
Ken Carroll,
Yes.
and Bill Thomas.
Yes.
Motion
Public
carries, thank you.
hearing Opened at 7:13. Again, the subject of this case is V-24-3-8-1, and I would again like to ask Zoe Gates, our administrative clerk, to present the specifics.
Thank you again. As you said, this is a variety of variances at a single-family home. You do have Exhibit A, which is the list of them with the distances that they are looking to get variances for the swimming pool, shed, decks, and patio. I want to note that the paver brick patio was in the process of being replaced, so the paver bricks themselves have been removed and are on site, but not in place. The base is still there, which is why they have patio/gravel written here. There is still a stone base where the paver bricks were placed. Our applicants did include a letter of their own. They would, of course, like to be granted all of the variances. However, they did note that they would be willing to discuss the complete removal of the patio and patio base that is there right now. We've had our city engineer and our building commissioner take a look at the property, particularly because there is a public utility and drainage easement along the rear property line, the east property line. But it is not, nothing that's there is currently affecting the water drainage, and the underground electrical lines are at least 5 feet from the edge of the pool, which is required by ordinance. They were marked by Julie, so we know that life safety issue is not a problem. It is important also to note that the decks are actually slightly over their property line into the neighboring property. Of course, we cannot grant a variance for that, but we do have a letter from the neighbor that they obtained stating that they are aware of it and they are okay with that, just so you are aware of that in your packet as well. We did note that there are some similarities for this variance application to one that we very recently passed for a shed. And so we do have those conditions listed as conditions we would suggest for this variance as well. And then we would also suggest that these variations, if approved, should be tied to the existing structures and not applied to any new structures coming in. So for example, if they remove the shed, a new shed would have to come into current code at the time that they were doing that. And I am available for any questions.
Any questions or so? Okay, do one or both of you want to come to the podium? State your names.
Good evening. My name is Scott McFedries, and I reside at 1940 Civil Drive. I purchased that house back in
Hang on a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just the wife. I'm Helen McFadden.
What are
I'm
you
sorry.
doing up here?
This is new to me, so I apologize. I purchased the house.
Let me get you going here, slow you down. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, go for it.
Okay. I just am trying to explain that I was the original purchase of the house. I bought the house new. I bought it back in '92. I was 28 years old. That I get there's no excuse for not doing what I did, but I had no idea that there was gonna be complications like this arising. I had no idea that what I was doing would be, that I just knew that in my yard, I didn't know that I had to have specific boundaries for my stuff that I was putting in there, so shame on me. But I guess what I'm asking is, I'm trying to get these variances because the shed that I built, I built 20 plus years ago, and I mean, if I could move it, or if I could do anything to get it off that variance, I would do it, but I can't do it without ripping it down. And the same thing applies to my decks. If I was to try to reinvent the decks, I might as well just remove them because of what I'd have to take off the decks. So,
Can I?
go ahead.
He's just very nervous, I'm sorry. We're just trying to make our home as pretty as it was since we've had it. I realized my husband didn't get permits a while back, young and stupid, right? But now we've beautified our backyard, we'd like to keep it that way. That's the bottom line.
Okay, any questions? Commissioner Peterson?
I guess, how did this all come about? Why are you here? How did,
What
happened?
had transpired is, I was retiring this year, so last year I had contacted the city, and I'm just saying, I had asked the city, do I need permits to renovate my deck and to replace my pool? Because I was just asking. And they said if I was replacing the existing deck, and I'm not doing anything structural, they didn't need a permit. And if I was replacing the existing pool, I didn't need a permit. But they didn't know that I didn't pull permits originally, so that's, honestly. So that, the information, it's not on you, it's on me.
Gotcha.
So,
So we replaced the deck, we put in a new pool. We assume the same thing with the permits, or with the pavers. We know what happens when you assume. And Don Seaman came by while we were pulling up the pavers, and that's when we got the citation about not being within code.
Okay, and I rode by, you're all fenced in,
We are.
I am,
and looks like all the neighbors are fenced in, pretty much
Correct.
For the
all the
most
way
part.
up and down.
Correct.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, how much are you receiving 50% of the lot coverage?
I'm gonna have to ask Zoe, I know she's got the numbers.
On the Exhibit A, it's 58.1% that they have coverage right now. The removal of the paver brick patio base, so that would go back to grass, would get them almost under that just at that 50%. I think it's like 5%
Yeah, I
over,
think we're
something
at
small
4.8
of that
or
nature,
something.
but currently it's 58.1.
Yeah, that's minute.
Yeah, we actually did not get Exhibit A in our packet.
Oh.
So I got mine offline.
I apologize for that. I don't know why that's the
But I do
case.
ha- I
I
do
did not
have it
prepare these, but.
Printed off
that-
from online.
I do the same thing.
This one?
No, those are the photographs. I only have one copy, I apologize. I can pass it down so you can all at least take a look at it. That's all of the numbers. Ron Menzner, our interim community development director, worked that up with all of the exact measurements.
You want to see it? Okay. Did you have any other questions?
Correct.
No, I'm good.
Correct.
Commissioner Curl, any questions?
No.
That's a no-brainer.
Commissioner Slavozowski?
No questions.
I have none.
Is this your backup supports out there in the audience, or?
We'd
All
like
right,
to go on
why-
record, we didn't know they were coming.
We honestly didn't know.
well,
It's
good for
okay,
them. Why
even
don't
if you
you
did.
two have a
Thank
seat, and then I'll
you.
have you come back up.
Thank you.
So, do y'all want to say something? Just one at a time, come up, sign in, and I'll swear you in, and you can make your statement.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Tom Yakak. I live at 1941 Civil Drive, right across the street from Scott.
Okay, you raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
Yes.
God?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
No, I was just hoping that you guys will pass it, because it's only 8% over the 50%, so it's really not that much, and he's one of the people in the neighborhood that you want your house to look like. So he takes care of his property, and he's always out there cutting his grass, and he's dumping a whole lot of money into his backyard right now, so we were hoping to get it done before winter hits, so he can use it, you know? So, yeah, I hope you guys pass it, because he deserves it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wants to come to the podium, make a statement?
Good evening, my name's Tom Sawyer, I reside at 1949 Sibyl Drive.
Okay, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay,
We've been residents of that neighborhood now for 3 years, and Scott has been a very good inspiration for us, because we're actually right now going through a remodel in our own place, and we enjoy what they have at their house, so that's why we've been working on our house as well. And I couldn't ask for a better neighbor, because like I said, they keep up on their house, grass is cut, house is painted, roof's all done. If everyone did that, it'd be great, and I really wish they would get that approved, because it would look really nice back there.
okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, then let's have a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Commissioner Carroll, motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Peterson. Roll call, please.
Ken Carroll,
Yes.
Jeff Peterson,
Yes.
John Stanton,
Yes.
Cheryl Slavozewski,
Yes.
Angelo DeSario,
Yes.
and Bill Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
All right. I want to go back to Commissioner Stanton's question. The amount of coverage over the allowed 50%, is that 58% if the pavers were to go back in?
Correct. That's with all of the variances. That is with the brick paver patio.
Yeah, my initial thought when I was looking over all the facts was, I mean, that 50% regulation is there for a reason, but 58% is a lot closer to 50% than it is to 70%. If that, I don't know, what do you guys think about the 8% over?
If you're asking, it's not bothering me.
Is there an engineer's report on this?
We do not have a formal engineer's report. Our city engineer did go on site, specifically wanting to look at the drainage easement to the rear of the property. And he said currently there is not any blockage to natural drainage.
Yeah, because of their report, I figured that's not an issue.
Non-issue for me.
Cheryl?
Go ahead.
Non-issue for me.
So everybody's pretty well agrees that they feel that the 58% is okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay. The only thing I want to mention here is that if for some reason that shed has to be moved, if the city has to come in and do some work, or the utility company, you'll be aware that you will be responsible for the restoration of that.
I am.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Anybody on the staff have a question you want to discuss with us? Or we're okay? All right, if you two would come back up here, let me,
I would just suggest you discuss the conditions, and if you wish to
Yeah.
place those conditions on the
Gotcha.
variance.
right. Well, thanks to your opening statement, I'm not going to ask the question what I was going to ask. And basically, well, I'm going to tell you what I was going to ask, but I think you've answered it. Basically, how could you do something when it's literally breaking the law, and you did it on 3 things, and you didn't know you were doing it, and you were young and stupid. Well, I've been young and stupid too, so, I drove by your place too, and it's gorgeous. I happened to drive by slowly, and the garage door was up, and the back door out of the garage was up, and so I wasn't gonna climb and sneak in there, but I looked at your place, and, it looks like a great recreational plan, and I agree with your neighbors. In fact, that whole area is a very nice-looking part of Crest Hill, and, kept up very well. So here's what I'm gonna recommend. We'll see how everybody votes. I'm gonna put a condition on this, and you have to understand, I think what Zoe said, this condition is gonna go on these existing structures. If you decide that you wanna tear one down and rebuild it, that's a whole different ballgame, and now you'd have to come into the variations that are allowed. So, let me read the condition and the conditions, and let me know if you would agree with them. The first one, that the accessory structures that are located in a stormwater and public utility easement, they are located in a stormwater and public easement. If the city or another authorized utility needs to access, maintain, install, or repair any of those structures, and they may be impacted, be required to be moved, you are totally responsible for any restoration costs involved in that. The city will not bear any financial responsibility if they have to move them to get into their easement. Honestly, I was originally gonna propose that we not let you reinstall the pavers. I've seen the pictures, I've seen where they go. And I am willing to include that in the motion to say that we will also allow you to reinstall the pavers, knowing that it's at 58%, but there doesn't seem to be any issue with the drainage noted so far. And the pavers do have some porousness that the water will go through them. I'm very familiar with pavers, I have a paver patio myself. And then the final condition is that you will be required to obtain all necessary building permits for each structure, and that you will be responsible to pay the fine that will incur on each of those late building permits. Do you agree with all of these conditions?
I do.
I do.
Can I have a motion to approve the request?
Wait, can I just ask a question?
Yep, go ahead.
So, from 28 years ago, they're gonna be fined for not getting a permit?
Well,
They
the-
have to have a permit.
Yeah, the pool and the paver brick patio are new. They replaced what they had from 28 years ago. So those new items, which they have applied for the pool and paver bricks, and we had to deny it because of the coverage and the distances from property lines. But those are brand new, so those are, even though they had them 20 years ago, they were replacing. But we are also going to require the permits for the deck and the shed.
So if they just got the permit, do they have to pay the fine?
Well, it's 3 times by ordinance, by city ordinance, doing work without a permit. When you get the permit, you pay the penalty is 3 times the permit fee plus that actual permit fee. So in this case, for 4 items, each of those permits would be 75. They will go up to 300 apiece with the penalty, the 3 times the original permit fee.
Thank you. Didn't know that.
Okay, I'd like to have a motion to approve the request from Scott McFedries for approval of the variations to section 6.61B, 8.3-5, 8.3-6A, and 8.3-9.2B of the Crest Hill zoning ordinance for the property located at 1940 Civil Drive, Crest Hill, Illinois, contingent on the conditions stated above. Motion.
I'll make that motion.
Do it. Commissioner Carroll makes the motion. Commissioner Peterson seconds it. Roll call, please.
Ken Carroll,
Yes.
Jeff Peterson,
Yes.
John Stanton,
Yes.
Cheryl Slaviszewski,
Yes.
Angelo Desario,
Yes.
Bill Thomas.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
So we've unanimously approved your recommendation. Now, keep in mind, or your request, we are only a recommending body, so we will send our recommendation to the Crest Hill City Council, and they will then do the official voting on it. Again, we're gonna wait to see when that would be.
Correct,
Yeah,
yes.
so we will let you know when that city council meeting is. I strongly suggest that you come, and I think you might want to bring your army with you. They were very convincing.
Thank
And,
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So we have 2 other items on the agenda. The first discussion, I've talked to each of you individually about something like this, and that's a discussion of implementing do they call it the Muni Code?
Municode, correct.
Municode for Plan Commission packets. Who's gonna lead that discussion?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as you noted, with the city council, they receive all of their packets are loaded up online through MuniCode. That is something that is on the city's website that can be accessed by the elected officials as well as the public as well. Since this time, the Plan Commission, the only thing that has been indicated on there is the agenda. And the now moving forward to providing the same packet, just like they do for city council, on MuniCode for the Plan Commission packet. So what you would have received in by delivery would then be posted up there as well. I know that there has been discussion about whether that how that will be carried over to fully transition the Plan Commission to electronic copies as well. Also then trying to figure out that hybrid of you all deal with a lot of plans and sometimes they're big plans. Once that gets posted up there, working out something that if you should need a large plan copy at 11 by 17, coordinating with staff as well to receive those. But my understanding is that the conversations are continuing, one, to let you know that they are up there, which it sounds like a number have already realized that they are up there, as well as then the progress and further discussions, my understanding is about moving completely to electronic for the Plan Commission. I don't think that has been finalized yet in terms of tablets and so forth, but that seems to be the process that's been moving forward. And it's very common. It's very common in municipalities to do that.
Does it require 100%, or can some commissioners still get their paper packets?
I'm not quite sure on the policy here at the city, but in other municipalities, I've worked with both. They are actually trying to move a lot to it because of the actual cost savings that comes along with it, and the immediateness to be able to get you your packet. we can go ahead and ask administration if that would be the process to be able to also provide that. Because they're trying, when we prepare a packet, it's just not the time to actually, your staff writing the report, it's having the administrative staff print it, paper, as well as then you also do have law enforcement drop that off as well. So that's another time. So there is an overall cost savings that would be, but if there are individuals who have questions or concerns about receiving an electronic copy, we can certainly talk to administration to see if there's another opportunity. Maybe that's simply just having that commissioner, pop in the office to pick that up.
Christine, I thought when we talked about this at a workshop meeting of the Plan Commission going to Unicode, and that, I think I mentioned that some weren't necessarily in favor of it. I thought one or two councilmen, aldermen, said that they still got paper copies.
They all receive it by tablet, like this. Full council does. If they do need a copy of it, we will print it up, but we are trying to get away from that now too. It is, like it was stated, very expensive. It's getting expensive for the paper, the ink, the time, and all that. And this is why Municode actually was supposed to go on it when we first got Municode. The Plan Commission was supposed to go on it. But they kind of like slid under. But yeah, it would be, everybody would be going on it. And if there's something that needs to be printed out that you want printed out, if we have the time, we'll be more than glad to, between the building department and my office, we could get it probably printed out, but it'd be something that you'd have to print out yourself, or if there's something real big, we could have it on their dais, or you could pick it up.
So when I asked if that meant we were all gonna get that tablet, there was some frowns on some of the faces, and they were gonna look into whether or not they could afford that.
We do have a quote for the tablet versus laptops. I am still researching it because I think it's a little outpriced with one of them. I do need to talk to the company about it and see if we can get a better pricing on it. But right now, this is the cheapest versus a laptop. So,
Could we see that?
sure. It's an Apple iPad.
And this is what the council has currently.
Yes, and this is what we receive
This
everything.
is what the council has.
Even your plan commission packets on.
Looks a little small for me to read from
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You
They
can-
could be zoomed in.
You can increase the
Yeah,
font.
you can,
You can zoom in on it.
You can zoom
Absolutely.
out. You will be showed how to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be more than glad to come and show you
Okay.
guys how to do some shortcuts and some fast stuff to it. A lot of stuff isn't accessed. The
And-
council doesn't use all the features on it.
And
But
if-
yeah, you could zoom in and all that.
And
Yeah,
so when your agenda comes up, let's say we had 9 items on an agenda. There's a hyperlink, so each agenda item has a 1, 2, 3, 4. If you click on the one, it jumps you to the backup documents.
Oh,
So you
wow.
don't have to
Scroll,
to
right.
find what you're looking for. You can, if you're on item number 3, you click on the 3 next to it, it'll jump to the staff memo and then the application and the plans.
Oh, I've seen
Yeah,
it.
whatever blue,
wanna take a look
highlight
and
the number
pass down?
blue. If the numbers are blue, you could jump right to it.
You're probably more familiar with that than some.
I will also note in terms of the plans, we do a lot of our review, and I've actually been on the other side of receiving them electronically. Because of the Zoom, it's actually sometimes easier to read,
Yeah.
go
because
into
the
a
print is
section.
so small, and 11 by 17s are about 8.5 by 11, so there are some advantages to having it where you can zoom in, as well.
Well, I'm an old-fashioned guy, but I'm totally in line with getting rid of so much paper. It's unbelievable when you look at the packets that we get and how much paper is in there.
This would also be a savings for our applicants, because currently, we used to require they give us 30 copies. Now with city council being on Municode, we can ask for 15 copies just to make sure we have coverage, but we wouldn't have to ask applicants to give us all of that if we had the electronic. So it's a cost savings to them as well.
And as far as, I mean, it's, I guess, a little less important for Plan Commission because there's not as much back and forth between staff and legal. But there is a ease of communication factor where, let's just say Maura has a application and she's drafting the staff memorandum, but she's got potentially some legal questions. She can open what they call a task in MuniCode. So she opens the task, she uploads her memo, and she can route it to me. So it'll come to me as an email that says, you have a new task in MuniCode. I open it up and it's basically a message from Maura that says, here's my memo, here's the legal question I have.
Wow.
I can check her document out, make my changes to it, check it back in, and that way we're both operating on the same copy. We're not sending attachments back and forth, sort of like what you and I did with the bylaws. You know, there was the one with the page numbers and then one with this little modification, and then it got, we exchanged so many emails back and forth that I lost track of which was the last one, and you know, you finally had to say, I think this is the one that we want, but I've made a couple more changes to it. So there is some ease, like I said, a little less applicable to Plan Commission because I don't do as much of that back and forth, but that's what I do on MuniCode for the city council. So you can imagine every ordinance, every resolution, when that comes to me as a task in MuniCode, I can check the documents out, I can make my modifications, I can make my comments, I can send it back to either engineering if it came from the city engineer, I can send it back to the building department, I can send it back to finance, I can send it back to the city administrator. So the MuniCode is a nice tool if you can just get yourself used to
Well, you gotta
doing
get
the
psyched up
electronics.
for it. I mean, you don't realize how old-fashioned we are until you see that kind of stuff that's now available to us. All right, so,
If I may interject as well, because there's a lot of times that Zoe and I will be waiting for plans to be delivered. And sometimes then the police have already gone or they've moved on with their day. So then on a Friday, that means that you're not getting it until that Monday. In this situation, we would have been able to have everything electronically, and before the end of business, that would have been up already. So there is actually a time saver when we're not waiting for plans to be actually physically dropped off here and assembled. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that overarching.
And the other advantage is now, the cases tonight that you just did, they can now, since it's already on MuniCode, transfer it over to the council packet.
wow.
So they don't have to resubmit it and all that stuff. It just, they go right into it and copy it right over to the council packet.
And that document that somehow missed all of your packets is on MuniCode. It was included
Yeah, I
in
know.
there.
I-
It's
I
because you
saw
saw
that.
it, yeah.
I went in there right where it was supposed to be, and there it was.
And the
Yep.
public is having access to it right now too. The public could see it on MuniCode.
Wow.
And if you have
From
a,
our website, they get the link and go to MuniCode with it.
and if you have a home printer at home, and let's just say that you typically make your own notes on like the staff memo, because usually that's kind of the most important thing. You're looking at what staff's recommending.
Right.
If you got a home printer, you can go on MuniCode and just send whatever 2 pages or 3 pages to your home printer. Instead of printing out a 150-page packet, you can just tell your printer, I want pages 41 and 42, which is that memo. Print those out at home, and you still got access to everything, the whole packet electronically, but you can have a hard copy of, you know, what you really want to take with you to the meeting and mark up if you wanna, if you're that kind of,
Well, you could actually do it on here too.
well, that's true.
You could put notes,
Excuse
you
me.
could put notes on it too. Cause I have a little one over here, a little bubble, and it has my note, what I wanna ask on it too. So you could do everything right here if you wanna do it too. I could, you know, you just transfer it over to Adobe and have fun. Highlight, make messages.
How easy would it be to get a replacement in case you drop it or drop liquid on it or spill some coffee on it?
Well, in all the time we've been on MuniCode, we haven't had an accident yet. So they come, I'm not sure what model you would be getting, but these have hard cases on them. So if they are dropped, they should be protected right now, but nobody's had a problem yet.
What's the
and-
lifespan of these?
Any problems tying into your Wi-Fi or anything like that?
No, actually, I just turned mine over at home just tonight. I got a new, network and I just switched it right over and it, boom.
Good.
And you'll be getting your email on it, your city email on here. Everything's be right on your tablet.
I can't give you an exact time period, but I know when, in the office, when we've needed something from IT, they're very responsive. It can depend, because you're ordering equipment that maybe isn't in stock, but assuming something's in stock, we usually have it up and running and installed within a week, if not less.
Yeah, we haven't gone, I haven't gone to the council yet with the pricing, so you'll still be getting hard copies, until we get a pricing and go before the council for an expenditure and buy these.
What's
Yeah,
the
I mean, it
lifespan?
sounds like, you're not really asking us if we want to do it. It sounds like we're going to do it. So when you're ready to do it, I think before you start it, and somebody said, we're going to have a training class, and then after that, then we just kick it off and,
Yeah, I could come in, we could hook it up to the TVs and we could just
Yeah.
show you all of it.
oh, perfect. Okay.
After, if you have a short meeting, we could show you right on the monitor. I could hook my computer up and show you how to transfer it over and.
Cheryl, I think you were asking what the lifespan on them is. I don't know an exact number,
I
but
don't
we've
either.
had Municode for what, 2 years? Maybe even a little more than that?
Probably a little bit more than
A
that.
little longer than 2 years, and they're going strong, so haven't had a
Yeah,
problem.
we have a problem with Municode, boom, they get right on with this and get it fixed.
Mhm.
So, it's a great thing. I mean, I hate change, I adapted to it real fast.
She does hate change.
I work with a
I
computer
can
8 hours a
confirm that.
day.
Well, okay, so we'll just let you tell us the status whenever you find out.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as
And
I
we'll do
get
it.
word
So, I
on
mean,
pricing and get it to the council and,
Yeah.
But the packets are on Municode now for those of you who want to look
So
at them
from now
with
on,
your
they'll
own
be there?
device.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you want to, because I don't know if the police department sometimes delivers them on Saturday, it could be Sunday. You could go on there on Friday, as soon as you get your email from Sam saying, it's up, you can go right on your computer
Yeah.
and look at it. You could look at it from your phone, you could look at it from anything you want.
And then my neighbor won't come over and say, what'd you do now? Policeman just
could-
came to your house again. Every month he comes to your house.
Yeah, tell them go on
Unless you
Unicode
like
and
that
pull the
kind of,
packet.
if you like that kind of drama, that's.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, the next item is the consideration of the updated bylaws. In our July meeting, we all looked at the update and kind of agreed to put it on the agenda for this month to approve it. Since then, I became aware of the City of Crest Hill Code of Ordinances Manual. And there is a section in that manual that deals with the Plan Commission. And at some point in time, I'm guessing whoever originally wrote the bylaws, they go back quite a ways until now, was obviously using that in some way to write the bylaws, but that code was updated in '99. And about the only thing they appear to have changed was the section on attendance. And we need to have the bylaws to be in consort with the Code of Ordinances, because it is the leading thing, that if there was ever a dispute between some bylaws and that code, the code would take over. So rather than do any more changes of the bylaws right now we're gonna have to ask our attorney to kind of help with updating the attendance thing by literally proposing it to the city council in a work session.
Yes, so I'll have to bring a discussion item with some proposed cleanup language to those sections to the city council, because as the chairman mentioned, the code of ordinances are actually the law of the city. Those are basically our statutes. Bylaws are like guidelines, and it's the way you can conduct your meetings, and obviously the bylaws, as long as they don't conflict with the code of ordinances, the bylaws are fine, but if they ever conflict, the ordinance takes precedence. So I talked with the chairman, and there are two alternatives. You can pass what you have in your packet now, but you're going to be changing it again, probably, hopefully, at the next meeting, because my goal is before our next meeting in September is to get this onto a work session here in August, get the council's input, and then get it to a regular city council meeting with whatever cleanup language they make. Once that ordinance is passed and they've cleaned up that language, however they decide to do it, I've got a couple of proposals. The chairman and I guess the mayor met, and we've got some proposed language. The council approves it. Hopefully we can just take that, incorporate it into this version of the bylaws, so what you have in your packet tonight will not change, other than there will be a change to section 5, Roman 5, which is meeting attendance, and we will then hopefully pass one change in September. Again, alternatively, you can pass what's on the table tonight. That would be good for potentially 1 month, and you'll be changing it again, which kind of seems...
Is it any easier if we approve it tonight and just change that section, or does it not matter if we just wait and approve the whole thing?
It doesn't matter to me. I don't think there's any legal difference. I mean, I always like to do things once rather than twice, if I can. Which is why, I mean, Zoe and I have another set of ordinances that, we are gonna bring to a work session. It has nothing to do with Plan Commission. but
Right.
We, rather than make the one change that is being contemplated, we look at the whole
The whole
statute to
ordinance.
see if there's anything else in there that might need changing or updating, so we can do it once rather than
Yeah.
do it and then you have another
back again
problem,
in a
and
month.
6 months later, you're making another change.
Yep.
Piecemeal changes are always
Yeah.
worse, in my view.
And over time, it's hard to remember what all you do without looking it up, so.
And I think for purposes, I mean, the chairman has suggested something really good for bylaws for the Plan Commission going forward. We've got a revision date on the top. So this one says revised August of 2024. Obviously, if we don't pass this tonight and we just do it in September, we will change that header to September.
September.
And then at the very back of the thing, it says approved, and they'll have a date on there that it's approved. So you'll never know, you'll never get or have to wonder when were these last changed. You can track them as far back as, they've been changed going forward. So I think,
We
So-
will amend the bylaws to include the Muni code now, then,
well,
because
we'll have
there's a
to,
section there, but.
we'll have to do that.
Email or
one-
mail or,
What's that?
no, there's a section in the bylaws where it says that they will be delivered by email or
Oh,
mail.
yes.
And
But I think,
we've
I think
got a new
that's-
player in the game here.
I think that's something that we will probably have to change when Unicode finally
Yeah.
comes in, because we don't know when.
I don't think that's imminent. I think
Yeah.
it's a couple of months out, hopefully only a few months out.
Yeah,
But it's a good point, so we'd have to change it then too, but.
yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I think we ought to wait, do one change instead of piecemeal it.
I think so too.
Let me just share with you, this is not the official language, but so you know what we're talking about when the bylaws have one statement on attendance and the code of ordinances has another. I'll just paraphrase it to say that plan commissioners are paid based on the commission having 12 regular meetings per calendar year. Obviously, we all know that. Get paid once a month. Plan commissioners are allowed to have 2 absences from meetings per calendar year. After that, meetings that are missed are not paid, the commissioner is not paid. So that's the new thing that isn't even totally in the code, that the mayor explained to me, that's what's done, but somehow it didn't get put in the code. You can only miss 2 meetings, and after that, you don't get paid for a missed meeting. And, so, I mean, you know, I don't think we're gonna have much choice about if that's the language the city council wants to keep in there. We're gonna have to adopt that language, so. But we'll let them tell us now. The attorney will take that to the work session, and then, hopefully by next meeting, we'll have this new wording in that section. Since we all kind of agreed on all the rest of it, we can just discuss that, and I think we can approve it at that meeting, so. Okay. Nobody, everybody's left, so public comments, I don't see anyone who's willing to come and make a comment. Do we have any other business? Anybody have anything to bring up relating to the planning commission? So with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Peterson, motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Slabazeski. Roll call, please.
Jeff Peterson.
Yes.
Cheryl Fabazeski.
Yes.
Angelo Desario.
Yes.
Ken Carroll.
Yes.
And John Stanton.
Yes.
Bill Thomas.
Yes.
Motion
Meeting
carries. Thank you.
adjourned, 7:56. Well, thank you, everyone.